Hey Florencia, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm pretty chuffed about this interview because design, I think, is it's often controversial. People understand it in different ways, and when you start getting conceptual and really serious about it,
Yeah,
people freak out or they don't know what's going on. And
definitely.
I love design, and I know nothing about it, so I'm excited about this one too. But
Yeah, pretty
let's
excited here.
yeah. It's a really fun it's a really fun topic. But let's dig into design systems a little bit. So
Mhm.
we'll do three or four chunks, I guess. But what's a design system? Let's start with that.
Yeah. So when we talk about design systems, we refer to a collection of rules, principles, standards, but also constraints that govern a collection of products or even a single product as well. So there could be a bunch of stuff that goes into your design system, but one of them could be your company principles. It could be everything from your marketing guidelines to your design principles. But what usually is included in a design system as well, and that's what we're going to focus on today, is a live system of UI components. And what we mean by that is a central repository of all the elements that you use in your end application. So think about things like your buttons, to your typography styles, to your input fields, to all of the different elements that
Hmm.
comprise the interface in your application sitting in a central library within this design system.
Yeah, got it. So um, I'm from kind of document land, so I and an old one too. So I kind of think in terms of intranets and document libraries and where you store those kind of fields or that kind of content. Is it anything like that? Does it have anything to do with or am I wide of the mark there
Yeah, so
conceptually?
basically it's sort of conceptually, it's sort of basically get this library of components and think of it that as a developer, I am building an application and I can pull into my application this library of components. So all of
All
a
right.
sudden, I have this library of ready to use components that I can use in my application and save significant development time as well.
Yeah, right. Cool. So I guess it's kind of streamlining the process because you're replicating design components and information and
Mhm.
visuals and rules um, and syncing them from a development-based system without the developers having to constantly go around and change stuff and go and
Yeah.
hunt and peck from it. Is that okay? So thought I got that right. Okay, so what are the benefits? Like why is this good? I mean, I guess you sort of covered that. All right,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, let's go to the next one. So, how do you start doing this if you're ready for this and you see that this is going to add value?
Yeah, so before you actually start the development of your design system, let's just say that either a person in an organization has initiated the process of wanting to build a design system for the company. The first thing that you have to do before anything is to determine whether a design system is the right thing for your organization. Because there's a variety of things. So there's a variety of core benefits that you would get from a design system. It's a central source of truth. It creates greater consistency within the different components of your within your different applications, especially if
Hmm.
you have a variety of applications. It creates this unified language that you can reuse across teams. And of course, it saves up the front-end development time. So when you're starting the process of determining whether a design system is the right thing for you, you need to talk to all the different teams in your organization, your stakeholders, your design teams, your front-end teams, and determine what are their problems, what are you trying to solve with this design system.
Hmm.
Because it may come up that maybe, for instance, your team is small enough and nimble and you don't need a design system because you already have a fast delivery workflow, and the
Hmm.
upfront investment is just not worth it.
Yeah.
Design systems are especially useful in those companies that have that need to push products quite fast, and perhaps they have a slower delivery workflow in front end. They have a lot of designers or developers, and they need sort of that unified language. So first of all, before starting anything, determine, is this the right thing for my company? Do I need a design system?
So what's that? So let's say that all makes sense, right? It sounds like there's preparing that library involves more than just picturing what you want to see, right? It sounds to me like you're describing a process that it may involve development input, but it sounds like these are conceptual chunks of information that get rolled up at a development level. It sounds like you're digging reasonably deep. So what are you itemizing? Like, let's say give me an example of a couple of components. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And how you would arrive at that one particular component. I know there's probably hundreds or millions, but.
Yeah, so from a design perspective, before you dig into your individual components, you need to determine your collection of components and how you're going to organize that. So from a design perspective, and also in collaboration with the development team, you would be doing an audit of all the different elements that are on your interfaces.
Yeah, right.
You would review the existing applications that you would want to move on to the new design system. Or if you are developing a new application, then you would want to have some sort of wireframes to start from and to determine, these are the different components that I need to break down into smaller chunks. Then let's just say that you have this interface and you have identified all the different components that you would want to build into it. Then the next step is to actually organize them in some sort of structure. And there's a wide variety of methodologies in terms of how you may organize these components, but the most common is what we call atomic design. Atomic design is sort of this way of structuring components that goes from the smallest component all the way to your biggest chunks of components grouped together. So we go from this concept of an atom, which is your smallest button. For instance, an atom could be a button or an input field. And then you can combine them into a molecule. For instance, in your molecule, you could have a search box, which is comprised of your input field and the button, for instance, and the search button. And those two elements together create a molecule. And then you start building things up like that into then what we call organisms, templates, and pages. So you build them up in chunks until you have your full page templates already.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. I love that we got all the way to organisms before it became something that sounded like technology. That's brilliant. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, and so, but that is only part of the work that would actually go into scoping out your solution, because definitely from also, like, the other thing as well is that this would be a good opportunity as well to assess whether you need to make any improvements to the UI. So if you're building, if you're revising your existing applications, bringing them onto your new design system, this is a really good opportunity to say, do I need to make any changes in terms of improving, say, the accessibility of my application, or are there any parts of the application that are currently hard to use in terms of the UI? And this is a perfect opportunity to design some improvements and improve the accessibility of your application by building those improvements into the design system.
Yeah, brilliant. This really sounds like the point at which you're bridging that technology and human, or I guess user gap, right? Like, I get from what you're saying, it sounds like you put the technology and the humans together with the design systems so that you get the repeatable business value at the end, and you're not doing it in silos, or at least you're doing it with someone like you or a system like you're describing to eliminate those silos and to get it all kind of flowing. Is that, am I? Yeah,
so at the end of the day, you're building, the UI contributes to the user experience for the user. So you just want to make sure that each component solves a key problem for the user. You want to make sure that they are easy to see, that the accessibility standards are right and follow the accessibility standards of your organization, that the components respond well on mobile. So you really want to create a seamless experience for the user, and you start that through the UI. And then, of course, these components then get combined into the and get used to build great user experiences. But it all starts from having really easy to use components that are really that can be used easily across mobile and desktop.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, cool. My brain's full. I think that was excellent. I think this is an excellent start, and we definitely are going to do more of these with you. In even more detail, I think. But this is a really great overview. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Of course, if people want to talk to you, then they can find you at the Amplify Technology Collective website. But have a great day. I hope you design a fantastic finish to your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.